today's video, we're going to be replacing the exhaust manifold gasket because it ended up blowing out. Alright, this is just a forewarning to save you guys time. Make sure that it's not your exhaust downpipe that comes from the bottom of the manifold and goes all the way to crosses the bottom of the car or the truck and goes to the catalytic converter. Make sure it's not this that's leaking, because when I went to go take off these bolts, I found that this was just flopping around. I mean, you can just see it right there. Check this first and see if it's this pipe. It costs like 70 bucks from Rock Auto, so it's not too bad. But yeah, just a heads up. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, show you what the sound is, and we're gonna go ahead and replace it. First thing we're going to do is take off this serpentine belt, and the pulley is in the bottom right side of the vehicle if you're in the driver's seat. So we're going to go under the car and untension it and just pull it off the AC compressor and the power steering pulley. You can see the tensioner right here. It's a 3/8 square, so you're just going to need a 3/8 ratchet. And from this angle you're going to rotate it counterclockwise to relieve the tension. Okay, we're going to take off the AC compressor. We're going to move this out of the way. There's two 15 millimeters, one just right there, and another one just right there. So we're going to go ahead and take them off. And then there's two bolts on the back on a bracket. There's one just right there, that's a left bolt, and then one right there, the right bolt. So we're going to take those two off, and we're going to pull up the whole AC compressor. Okay, now we're going to take off this power steering setup. There's two 15 millimeters for this bracket. So we're going to go ahead and take those off first. And the last bracket bolt is the one right there that's lit up right there. Now the front bolts, they're inside the pulley on the top, one on the 3 o'clock position, technically 9 o'clock position, and then one right at the bottom at the 6 o'clock position. And they're 13 millimeter bolts. To take off the bracket from the power steering pump, there's a bolt on the back side. So we're going to have to take off that bolt to be able to slide that bracket off. $13 millimeter. Okay, now with the shield off, we have access to the manifold. Now we're going to take off these EGR tubes, 410 millimeter nuts. And we're going to go ahead and take out that 13 millimeter nut that holds on the bracket. Okay, I forgot to take off the 10 millimeter bolt that holds this coolant tube to the oil pickup or oil fill tube. It's a 10 millimeter, and once you take that out, it moves out of the way, so you can go ahead and take off your EGR crossover tube. And we're going to just push this out of the way. And now we can go ahead and work on the manifold bolts. Okay, so now you're going to, just for ease of access and a little bit more room between, like for space for hands, take off the 3 10 millimeters that hold the heat shield, and you just pull it out. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the manifold, which is 8 13 millimeter nuts. Okay, now we're going to take out the 3 exhaust manifold bolts that go all around in a triangle pattern, and then we can go ahead and take off the manifold from the top. And with the last 2 bolts on the back lower side off, we can go ahead and slide it off. And here's your gasket. Pull this bad boy off. It's weird how they have like shared chambers. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but yeah. So much for thinking it was a blown gasket, and now we get to put it all back together. Now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back on. Here's a new gasket, manifold side. We're gonna go ahead and put it on the studs. I forgot to say, when you're putting the oil fill tube bracket, make sure you put it on before you tighten down that back top exhaust manifold. It uses the same stud for the mount, so you got to back out the top rear nut, slip in the bracket, and bolt it down all together as one piece. Alright, now with the AC compressor back in, everything's installed. I would start it right now, but like I showed you before, I gotta wait for that white pipe to come back in, so I'm not gonna be able to start it. But that's how you change a manifold gasket on the Sonoma /S10s, 4 cylinders, 2.2 liters. Hopefully this video helps y'all. Y'all have a good one.